Great. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the annual general meeting of the Board of Trustees of Nanaimo Ladysmith Public Schools. My name is Mark Walsh, and I'm the Secretary Treasurer for the school district. And during this meeting, according to the School Act, I temporarily take the role as chair while the board is going to be determining who its chair is going to be. Before I call the meeting to order, I do want to recognize that it's with great respect and humility that we acknowledge and honor the lands of the Nanaimo people. The Nanaimo people maintain the profound, unique, and spiritual connection to the land through ageless teachings, traditions, stewardship, and expressions of reciprocity. And again, I just recognize what a wonderful place that we're able to live in, and the natural beauty that we get to teach and learn in this district. So I want to start off, and we are online tonight, so it might not be incredibly easy, but I do want to make a couple of introductions. Now, Karen, are we going to change the live so everyone, when I mention their name, can just pop on really quick? That's what we're going to do. So again, my name is Mark Walsh. I'm Secretary Treasurer. I introduced Laura Tate, Acting Superintendent. And we're just going to wait. There we go, for the red to come on. Okay. Zayad Merchant, Director of Information Technology, and who will also be our scrutiny or ballot counter this evening. Karen Matthews, our Manager of Administrative Services. And I would like to introduce our Board of Trustees. I'm going to go by alphabetical order. So I'm going to start with Trustee Naomi Bailey. Trustee Tanya Berzovich. Okay, Trustee Greg Keller, and if I could just ask trustees stay on just for one moment until you see the red around your face, so the public is able to see you. So Greg Keller.
Good evening.
Trustee Leanne Lee. Okay. I do want to acknowledge Trustee Charlene McKay is unable to be with us this evening. Trustee Chantal Morvay. Trustee Leanna Pellegrin. Trustee Mark Robinson. There we are. And Trustee Tom Rokeby.
It's clear, everyone.
Great. So I would like to start by seeking a motion for the approval of the agenda. And if you could just put your name in the chat to move into second, if that's possible. So Trustee Lee and Trustee Morvay seconds. Thank you. And any opposed to the approval of the agenda? Okay, the agenda is approved unanimously. So just want to walk quickly through how the procedure is going to work this evening. So voting during tonight's meeting will be conducted using the district's Microsoft Forms online platform. This allows each trustee to cast a single electronic, anonymous, and secure ballot for each vote. Mr. Merchant will act as the scrutineer. He will tally the ballots cast in each vote and will advise myself for the initial vote and then the elected chair after the first vote, which is for chair, of the results of this election. So this evening, we're going to be seeking the chair, we're going to be seeking the vice chair, we're going to be seeking the chairs of our committee structure, the business committee, and the vice chair of the committee, as well as education chair and vice chair, as well as election of British Columbia School Trustee Association provincial councillors. So that represents the board on provincial matters at British Columbia School Trustees Association between annual general meetings, and then also seek an election of the alternate as well. So as you are aware, though, tonight is also education meeting. So once this meeting is complete, we will end and then go into the education meeting at 6 o'clock as per usual. So what I will do is I will start by seeking nominations for chair, and then I will ask each nominee whether they accept. If they accept, then excellent, they're going to stand, and if they do not, then they won't be up for the ballot. I'm going to ask 3 times to make sure everyone has sufficient time to nominate someone and or accept. And if there is a single nomination, then it's an acclamation. There is not a vote. And if there's multiple nominees, then we will vote. And we won't walk through what the procedure looks like for ties, etc. We'll cross the bridge when we get to it. So I will start by just making sure that if there's any questions about the process this evening from trustees before we get rolling. If they come up, I'm here to support later as well.
So we type in the chat who we're nominating?
That would be great to type in the chat the nomination. Oh, and the one other thing I do want to just say is that we do not motivate our nominations. So just be aware that that's not typically part of the process. It's happened in the past a little bit, but that's not a normal part of the election process in these meetings. So,
sorry, Mark, can you repeat that again? We don't do what again? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Sorry, we do not motivate our nominations. So if I'm nominating Zayad to be the chair of something, I don't say I'm nominating Zayad because he's a great guy, his November mustache was awesome, he runs a good meeting, etc. So we just make our nomination and then it's determined whether the individual accepts or not. So for the first order of business, it's the election of chair. So I'm seeking nominations first time for the chair of the board for the coming year. Right. So I have first nomination this evening is for Trustee Keller for chair. Can I confirm with Trustee Keller whether he accepts the nomination?
I accept the nomination.
Great. Is there any other nominations? Okay, so I've completed the first, I'm seeking first time nominations. I would like to ask a second time, are there any additional nominations for the position of chair of the board? Seeing none, I will ask for a third and final time whether there are any further nominations for chair of the board. Seeing none, being no further nominations for the position of chair of the board, nominations are closed and Trustee Keller will be declared chair of the board by acclamation. Congratulations to Trustee Keller, and I turn over the gavel electronically to you.
Thank you very much, Mark, and thank you, trustees. So we have a few positions to get through this evening. The next one is the election of the vice chairperson. So I will call for nominations for the position of vice chairperson of the board for a first time. Chantal, we do have a nomination of Naomi from Chantal. I'd like to go to Naomi and ask that she, just a minute, I gotta make sure I get this right. Yes, that she accepts the nomination.
I accept the nomination.
Thank you. And please bear with me and with patience here as I make my way through this script. Thank you, Naomi. So Naomi has accepted the nomination. I'll call for nominations for the position of vice chair of the board for a second time. Seeing none, I will call for nominations for the position of vice chairperson of the board for a third time. Okay, being that there are no further nominations for the position of vice chairperson of the board, nominations are closed, and Trustee Bailey will be declared the vice chairperson of the board by acclamation. Congratulations, Naomi.
Thank you.
So moving on to the next position, which is the election of the business committee chairperson. I'll now call for nominations for the position of chairperson of the business committee. We have a nominee for chairperson of Leanne Lee. Leanne, do you accept the nomination?
I accept the nomination. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll call for nominations for the position of chairperson of the business committee for a second time. I'll call for nominations for the position of chairperson of the business committee for a third time. Being no further nominations for the position of chairperson of the business committee, nominations are closed. And I congratulate, nominations are closed and Trustee Lee will be declared the chairperson of the business committee by acclamation. Congratulations, Leanne. Thank you. Moving on to election of the business committee chairperson. I'll now call for nominations for the position of vice chairperson of the business committee. We have a nominee, Naomi would like to nominate Mark for the position. Mark, do you accept the nomination? Yes, thank you. I'll now call for nominations for the position of vice chairperson of the business committee for a second time. Seeing none, I'll now call for nominations for the position of vice chairperson of the business committee for a third time. Being no further nominations for the position of chairperson of the business committee, nominations are closed. And Trustee Robinson will be declared the vice chairperson of the business committee by acclamation. Congratulations, Mark.
Thank you.
Moving on to the election of the education committee chairperson. I'll now call for nominations for the position of chairperson of the education committee. Tanya would like to nominate Chantal. Chantal, do you accept the nomination?
I accept the nomination. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll call for nominations for the position of chairperson for the Education Committee for a second time. I'll call for the nomination of the position of chairperson of the Education Committee for a third time. Being no further nominations for the position of chairperson of the Education Committee, nominations are closed, and Trustee Morvay will be declared the chairperson of the Education Committee by acclamation. Congratulations, Chantal.
Thank you.
Moving on to election of the Education Committee Vice Chairperson. I now call for nominations for the position of Vice Chairperson of the Education Committee. Chantal, you would like to nominate Tanya? Tanya, would you accept, or do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. I call for nominations for the position of Vice Chairperson of the Education Committee for a second time. I call for nominations for the position of Vice Chairperson of the Education Committee for a third time. Being no further nominations for the position of Vice Chairperson of the Education Committee, nominations are closed, and Trustee Berzovic will be declared the Chairperson of the Education Committee by acclamation. Thank you, Tanya. Congratulations. Moving on, we have the election of the BCSTA Provincial Councillor. I now call for nominations for the position of BCSTA Provincial Councillor. Naomi, you would like to nominate Tom? We have two nominations, so I'll start with Tom. Tom, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, Tom. And Leanna has nominated Leanne. Leanne, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. I'll call for nominations for the position of BCSTA Provincial Councillor for a second time.
Chair, point of order.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I'd like to withdraw my name from contention, please.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
everything's been so collaborative tonight. I think we'll end it like that.
Okay, thanks, Tom. So I'll go back and I'll redo this part again, just for clarity. So I'll call for nominations for the position of BCSTA Provincial Councillor for a second time. And I'll call for nominations for the position of BCSTA Provincial Councillor for a third time. Being no further nominations for the position of BCSTA Provincial Councillor, nominations are closed. And Trustee Lee will be declared BCSTA Provincial Councillor by acclamation. Congratulations, Leanne.
Thank you.
That threw me for a loop when we had Leanna nominating Leanne for a moment there. Moving on to the election of the BCSTA Provincial Councillor Alternate. I'll now call for nominations for the position of BCSTA Provincial Councillor Alternate. Mark has nominated Tom for alternate councillor. Do you accept this nomination, Tom?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
No? Okay. I'll call for second time for nominations for the position of BCSTA Provincial Councillor Alternate. Naomi, you would like to nominate Tanya? Tanya, do you accept the nomination?
sorry, yes. I didn't realize I was muted.
Thank you, Tanya. I'll call for nominations for the position of BC Provincial Councillor Alternate for a third time. Being no further nominations for the position of BC STA Provincial Councillor Alternate, nominations are closed. Trustee Berzovic will be declared the BC STA Provincial Councillor Alternate by acclamation. Thank you, Tanya. Okay, so this moves us on to adjournment. So thanks everyone and congratulations and thank you for putting your name forward for these positions. I'll now ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Moved by Chantal. We have a seconder. Seconded by Leanna. Anyone opposed? Yeah. Seeing none, motion carries. We're now adjourned, and I'll just announce that trustees, superintendent, and secretary treasurer will have a photo taken at a regular board meeting on December 20th, 2023. Thanks a lot, everyone.